Hi, my name's Ian, welcome to my channel, and welcome to this, the opening episode of SoloQuest, which is going to be my run through these classic RuneQuest solo adventures from yesteryear. In this first episode, I want to run through what SoloQuest is, my approach, the approach that I'm going to take towards it, and how that I intend this series to go. But it may evolve as we go on. First, so what is SoloQuest? Well, in a specific sense, it is a series of solo adventures that were published in around about 1982 for the second edition of Chaosium's RuneQuest role-playing game. Now, these three, there were three total SoloQuest adventures. The first one called SoloQuest, then Scorpion Hall, and then Snow King's Bride. There was a third SoloQuest adventure called the Maze of Shaxri Oberok that came out in the RuneQuest Companion. I've printed it off from the PDF here just to put with the rest of the SoloQuest books. All of the SoloQuest adventures are available from Chaosium as PDF and also as a print on demand and a collection of all three together in the SoloQuest Classic Collection, which is this. Now, this is the print on demand version that you can get from Chaosium is a soft cover. I wanted a hardcover one, so from the PDF, my legally purchased PDFs of these, I then ran it through Lulu to get a hardbound version. Why hardcover? Because if it's a book that I'm going to be flicking backwards and forwards to, I want it to be able to survive a bit better. Right, so that's what we're going to be using for the run through the SoloQuest Classic Collection, available from Chaosium. Not a sponsor, but they're the ones that originally produced. So all four of the SoloQuest adventures were written by Alan Laverne. And the RuneQuest Companion came out in 1983. So SoloQuest 82 and the RuneQuest Companion with the Maze of Shaxri Oberok in 1983. So SoloQuest, more broadly speaking, is using the RuneQuest rules for solo play. Now, the way that the SoloQuest adventures are set up is very similar to the way that Tunnels and Trolls game books were set up earlier than SoloQuest came out. This being a UK later edition of those old things. So Tunnels and Trolls predates RuneQuest by a little bit, and the solo adventures for Tunnels and Trolls, many of them predate SoloQuest. And also the later fighting fantasy books. Now, please excuse the battered version of this. It's when I was a kid. This these books accompanied me on quite a few camping trips. So consequently, they are not in the best of health these days. However, the basic concept is in all of these forms is you have numbered paragraphs. The narrative of the adventure is scattered through these paragraphs randomly throughout the entire book, and a given paragraph will explain a particular situation to you and then give you options, and by taking those options it will guide you to another numbered paragraph. Basically, if you want to go north, then go to paragraph 292, and then paragraph 292 will then describe what happens when you go north. Some options are based on outcomes, so it might be a Scorpion Man has jumped up in front of you and now you've got to fight the Scorpion Man. So run the battle, and then at the end of it, if you win, then you need to go to this particular paragraph. If you decide that you're going to run away, then you need to go to this particular paragraph, and if you lose, then you go to another paragraph, or however it works in between. So that's the general concept, right? Number of paragraphs. Here's a situation. Here are your options. There are the paragraphs that you need to go to depending on those options. So that's how the SoloQuest stuff works. The difference between Tunnels and Trolls and RuneQuest solo play and the Fighting Fantasy solo play, is essentially the character development arc. So you can, within both SoloQuest and within Tunnels and Trolls, you can use the same character to go through multiple adventures, and you can develop them, and I won't say level up, because Tunnels and Trolls sort of has levels, but RuneQuest doesn't, but it's whatever. Your character gets better in between adventures, and so you can play it sequentially, like a mini campaign. Whereas the Fighting Fantasy books, you tend to have a character that falls within the parameters of the character for that particular one. Sometimes you get a spell using character, sometimes you don't, sometimes you get one that's more thief-like, or one that's more warrior-like, or whatever, but the character that you're playing within the Fighting Fantasy books tend to be specific to those. We'll go a bit more into that when I get my video for Fighting Fantasy together, both the game books and the role-playing game. Right, so that's what SoloQuest is in specifically and in broad brush strokes, right? So we've got that down. Solo adventuring. The approach I'm going to be taking, so as the original SoloQuest books were written for the second edition of RuneQuest, I will be using the current available version of second edition RuneQuest, which is RuneQuest Classic. I'll be using these rules to run through the SoloQuest game, right? This is going to be a bit of an interesting concept for me to go through, because I have never played this game. I have played 3rd edition, and that's where my RuneQuest journey started. It was within the Chaosium and Avalon Hill collaboration on 3rd edition RuneQuest. I've never played 1st and 2nd edition RuneQuest. And that's why there is no review video for 1st and 2nd edition RuneQuest. So that'll be an interesting thing for me to do. And I've read through these rules, I've seen the differences, and hopefully understand the differences between the RuneQuest I know and the RuneQuest I'm hoping to get to know. We'll see. But bear that in mind, that this is going to be my first run through using these rules as well. So if you are a 2nd edition or RuneQuest Classic aficionado and you notice that I'm doing something wrong, then please do comment and say you're doing this wrong and this is how it should be done. But if you're going to do that, please let me know where in the rulebook the rules that you are correcting are. Because if there's one thing about this rulebook, the rules are all over the place. So I think I've got it down pat. I've created a bit of a character generation summarization process that's extracted bits from all sorts of this, or different parts of this, and also across Cults of Prax. So I'll be using this, some of the rules from here as well, just in order to flesh the characters out. Really, you don't really need Cults of Prax to run through them. And if you're going to get into the RuneQuest cults and religion side of things, I would suggest that you go for the latest series of RuneQuest cult books that they're coming out with, because they're incredibly well done. And not Cults of Prax, which is just as all over the place as this book is. But there we go. That's my hill to die on there. So the characters will be generated using rules from both RuneQuest Classic and Cults of Prax. By the way, both of those books are available also from Chaosium. Again, not a sponsor, but they're the people that put them out. The characters I'm going to be using, so I'll be initially generating 5 characters, right? The next video in this series will just be going through a character generation overview with one of those characters, and then the rest of the characters will just be in summary somewhere. I'm not going to do a character generation video for each of the characters I'm going to be using, because once you've gone through character generation once, I think it'll just be and I'll do that within the scope of the other character generation, or in a relatively similar format to the other character generation videos that I've done. But it'll be part of this series instead of a thing on its own. I'm trying to go for, because each of the adventures itself is sort of aligned towards a specific type of character in some cases. So hence the reason for using 5 characters from the outset, because I can have 5 characters of different types. Each character's got a bit of a different twist to it and skill specialisation to it. So then I can marry up whichever character is best for whichever adventure as we go. Also with the 5 characters, I'm going to be taking a concept of once a character dies, then that character is dead. And I won't be using it in a future adventure, SoloQuest adventure or anything like that. The character sheets, I will make the character sheets and some of the other bits and pieces that I'll be using for character generation and keeping track of the adventures as they unfold and everything in somewhere, somehow. There'll be a link to probably maybe a Dropbox or something like that where you can go and grab those files for yourself. You're more than welcome to use the characters for your own SoloQuest play or as non-player characters in your RuneQuest games or whatever you want. But if you're going to use the names and anything like that in a published work, then talk to me first, please, because otherwise I'll get a bit annoyed. The 5 characters we're going to be using are Myrtle Sneak Shadow, and most of the focus of the this is how we're doing things, or this is the character generation stuff, or whatever. Myrtle Sneak Shadow will be the character that we focus on. He is going to be a thief guild character of the Cult of Orlanth Adventurers. So he will be our more sort of sneaky type specialist guy. Ongar Shaggylegs is an Impala rider, a barbarian from Prax. So he will be more on that sort of survival and combat skills. Horfara Wisehair will be more of the magic user type, and tend to push her down the Lancor Mai type stuff and a bit of a spellcaster. Grimbletoe will be the next one, more of a storyteller, a performer, bit of a low caste type guy, but you know, travelling itinerant, makes his coin by telling stories to people. And finally, Priadel Enshine, who's a noble warrior from the Sundown Temple and a staunch follower in that regard of Yolmalio. So between them, the 5 encompasses all those different specialities like stealth and combat and magic and interaction and so on. So hopefully we'll find a good character for each adventure as we go. The first adventure from the SoloQuest book is the RuneQuest. This RuneQuest adventure. Now the concept of the RuneQuest one is that it's characters leave their physical body and enter a dream quest state, and off they go and then fight a series of opponents. The opponents differ each time, it's a random sort of thing. So each of the characters will be going through that particular adventure in their dream quest, hopefully get to a few more skills on the way and so on. I'll only use Sneak Shadow for that as part of the video, unless people go, oh, this is fantastic, we want to see all the rest of the characters go through their dream quest too. So the concept I have right now is to do Sneak Shadow's dream quest and then summarise how the dream quests for the other 4 characters went. But if people go, we want to see the dream quests for the other 4 characters, then I'll do videos for each of those too. So following the dream quest, then we'll start picking and choosing characters to go through the particular adventures, and then we'll go through the adventures separately. It won't be all 5 characters attempt every adventure. It will be, we'll look at the description of the adventure at the head, see which character best marries up to the theme of the adventure, and then run that character through. If that character dies partway through the adventure, then that's the end of that adventure. We'll move on to the next adventure. I'm not going to replay an adventure during which a character's died, because I just like to feel that character is now dead and their quest is over and whatever bad things that would have happened for the non-successful completion of that adventure are not going to happen, and the world is going to fall apart or whatever. We'll play through until either a character has succeeded in that adventure or they have died, and then we'll move on to the next adventure with the next character. At some point, I mean, RuneQuest can get pretty lethal, so if we end up running out of characters, then I'll just create some more. But I won't do that on screen. We'll just go, here's a new member of the cast. As characters improve, they will improve in between adventures that they go on, and also they will improve through experience by being on those adventures. So periodically I will post updated character sheets for those characters as their skills improve through the course of their adventuring. Again, to do with what you wish as far as using them as NPCs or using them as your own characters or whatever. Right. So the obvious part here. The entire series should be covered with a blanket spoilers alert, whatever, because we're going to be running through these solo game adventures, and you're going to see how they pan out. You're going to see what options that I take to see what the characters are going to do and all this kind of thing. So there's a spoiler alert for all of the content going forward on this. Just bear that in mind. However, I will sort of add, the DreamQuest one is redoable over and over again. I don't think spoilers really spoil that. And most solo adventures, I mean the troll Tunnels and Trolls ones, and even the you've seen the state that my Warlock of Firetop Mountain is in. I've found solo adventures eminently replayable. Unless what you do is write down every single paragraph that you go through in a particular adventure and then follow the same path through over and over and over again, that's a pointless exercise. But if you try different ways and see and explore what the author was thinking about, are there multiple ways to success within a particular adventure? So if you go left instead of right, or what have you, you might find that there's loads of dead ends and loads of instant character deaths and whatever on the way, but being able to replay those solo adventures, I've always found is something that can happen. So they are pretty good at that. So the spoilers themselves, just take them with a grain of salt, because even if you've watched me play through these, I don't think it will spoil your own experiences with these games. If you do go through them, or have gone through them in the past, or have any other experience and stuff like to share, then please do. What I would say though is I've got a video for Tunnels and Trolls floating around, so if you want to share your experiences about solo questing, solo adventuring, whatever within Tunnels and Trolls, please go and track down the Tunnels and Trolls video and comment about your experiences there. If you've got stuff within the realm of fighting fantasy and your experiences within fighting fantasy game books and so on, then please wait until that video comes out and comment your experiences there. And if you've got experience with RuneQuest and solo questing, I would ask that you wait until an episode that is relevant to your experiences comes up, and then comment there. So for example, halfway through the first few adventures within the original SoloQuest book, don't start giving me your narrative of what happened to you when you're solo questing through the Snow King's Bride, because I ain't got there yet. So wait until the Snow King's Bride episodes start coming out, and then comment there. It's not that I'm not trying to put you off and trying to control what you're doing with comments and stuff like that. I'm just trying to keep it all nice and neat so that the comments are relevant to the video material, and we can sort of, the resources of particular games aren't scattered all over the place. So Tunnels and Trolls stuff, find the Tunnels and Trolls video. It's already floating around the channel. Comment there. Fighting fantasy stuff, wait till the fighting fantasy video comes out. SoloQuest stuff, wait until an episode that is relevant to your experiences comes up, and then comment there, and then go. I'm actually really genuinely interested to hearing people's experiences with these things, because solo questing to me is something that is it's a nice thing. For me being a forever DM, it's nice to be able to just forget all that for a bit and idly flick through the pages of a book and make some decisions and scribble some stats out and do some actual play and let the book be the game master for me for a bit. It's a bit refreshing, and it lets you turn your brain off a little bit from thinking about, you know, worlds and playing nations and what have you. My DMing style goes through that, where I play the world and the players play the inhabitants, some inhabitants of the world, or a small group of inhabitants of the world, and the players' actions affect the way that I am metagaming the world, if you like. So all of that backstory about the nations having to go at each other, and the development of history can be affected by the players through their actions, but that's sort of my thing to do. It creates a dynamic campaign setting. I'll talk about it at some point, maybe in another video, about how my game mastering style tiers things out in the detail. Right, so I think that's all there is to say in this particular video. So it should be fun. Next episode in this particular series, like I said, should be the character generation one for Sneak Shadow, and a bit of a summary on the other characters. My character generation experiences with this second edition set of RuneQuest rules, and its interesting chaotic organisation. And then we'll get into the adventures themselves, which starting with the dream quest of Myrtle's Sneak Shadow. Beyond that, just a bit of explanation of why the channel has all of these ups and downs and gaps in its release schedule, is the fact that I don't have a release schedule. I do this as a bit of a laugh and a bit of a hobby, and I find it interesting, and I learn new things, both from I've never really played around with cameras before or anything like that. I'm a musician, so sound is my thing rather than the visual things. So I'm learning a whole heap about how to use cameras and how to set things up and edit videos and things like that. So over the last however many 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this, that's been the interest of for me. I do have a job. I am a scout leader. I do have I'm a musician and stuff, so there's that going around. The job is full time, and August especially, because it's that sort of summer break from everything else that I do. It's just a nice kind of period to just chill out and actually have some family time and some downtime from everything else. So if you ever sort of sit there going, oh god, he only releases like once every 2 or 3 weeks, try and do it once every week. Try and put something out once every week. Doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen because I have a life beyond YouTube. If this ever comes my job, then there'll be a different thing, because there'll be more impetus and more time to do it. But at this moment of time, it's not my job. I don't do this for a living. It is just a hobby for me. I am absolutely both amazed and grateful that anyone watches my videos. So, thank you for everyone that's subscribed to the channel and continues to be an audience here. It encourages me to do more and put the effort in. But other than that, just bear in mind, this isn't my main gig, and I'm just grateful that people enjoy what I'm doing here. Just aside from all of this, if people think that this SoloQuesting stuff is going to detract from everything else, we've got in the works that we have some, when I say we, and it's me, I do everything on this channel. I've got the fighting fantasy stuff coming up. I just sort of mentioned briefly in all of this. So that video for the fighting fantasy game books and my experiences with those over the years, and the role-playing game for it, that will be coming up. The Viewer of the Milu series, that's continuing to go through. There's a fair bit of research and script writing and stuff that I put into those, so they have a pretty of a slow burn release, but we're still trolling through those. Those are actually really fun to do. But the next one up on those will be about the Ansalon continent of Dragonlance. So some of the more the larger worlds or whatever, the worlds that I've got a lot of stuff for, I'll be breaking up into more than one video for. So for example, with the Dragonlance stuff, I'll do a video for Ansalon and a video for Taladas, and it's the Ansalon video that's coming up first, and just sort of usual general meanderings about about odds and sods. If you look through my videos, then you'll see there is a whole bunch of random things. And one last video that I'm currently putting together as well is a 2,000 subscriber special. We've actually passed 2,000 subscribers ahead of anything that I thought. I was expecting September, October when that went through. It's actually within the last 2 weeks that the channel has gone past 2,000 subscribers. Absolutely amazed, astounded that it's ever got through. I know 2,000 subscribers doesn't sound much to many in the YouTube sphere, but to me, it's I'm flabbergasted that my little channel has managed to gather that many. Given that, like I said, it's a hobby. I don't really do much in the way of promotion, if anything, and yeah, don't really treat it like a business. I think that's the and like a lot of people treat it like a business and stuff. I mean, the nice thing about not treating it like a business is I don't get into this trap of chasing algorithms and things. I'll put a video together of what I would find interesting and to watch, and hopefully other people find it interesting to watch too, and it's evident that people do, so thank you very much for that. So yeah, it also means that, when certain game companies do certain things that the role-playing game community, such as it is at the moment, disagree with, you end up with 500 role-playing channels talking about exactly the same thing, using exactly the same sources, and that to me, I kind of get a bit switch off to a lot of that, because I don't really care. Big corporate gaming companies are not going to come around and stop me playing all of the games that I play. So I don't really care what they do. Maybe that sounds bad. Maybe I should care. I don't really. There's plenty of games and gaming material and everything out there to keep anyone interested and involved in this hobby for decades upon decades, regardless of what any company, any corporate entity or whatever decides to do with their own particular slice of it. So I don't feel it's something that we should be at least not focusing on to the ad nauseum that we do. Right, so that's it. That's it for this video. See you in the next video, whichever one it happens to be, and have a great time. Look after yourself, and I will see you later. Take care.